Hello everyone, myself Divya Priya. Now I am going to discuss about SPI protocol. SPI was developed by Motorola in the 1980s as a standard low-cost and reliable interface between the microcontroller and its peripheral ICs. What makes SPI so popular among other synchronous serial communication protocols is that it provides a high-speed secure data transfer with reasonably simple hardware like shift registers at relatively less cost. These are the contents. Now we are going to discuss about it. Introduction, why synchronous, how SPI works, interface, SPI hardware, modes of operation, advantage and disadvantages, applications. Introduction. SPI stands for Serial Peripheral Interface. It is a synchronous serial communication protocol that provides full duplex communication at very high speeds. It is a master-slave type protocol that provides a simple and low-cost interface between a microcontroller and its peripherals. SPI interface bus is commonly used for interfacing microprocessor or microcontroller with a memory like RTC real-time clock, ADC analog to digital converters, DAC digital to analog converters. For short distance communication, synchronous serial communication would be a better choice, and in that, serial peripheral interface in particular is the best choice. Why synchronous? In UART or any common serial port where the communication happens over transmitter and receiver line, there is no clock signal. It is an asynchronous communication. In this type of communication, there is no control over the data sent or whether the transmitter and receiver have same data rates. In order to overcome this, UART uses synchronization bits. SPI is a synchronous type serial communication. It uses a dedicated clock signal to synchronize the transmitter and receiver or master and slave. How SPI works. The devices are connected in a master-slave relationship in a multi-point interface. In this type of interface, one device is considered the master of the bus and all the other devices are considered as slaves. In SPI protocol, there can be only one master but many slave devices. Interface. The SPI bus consists of four signals or pins. They are master out, slave in MOSI, master in, slave out MISO, serial clock SCLK, and chip select CS or slave select SS. Master out, slave in or MOSI, as the name suggests, is the data generated by the master and received by the slave. MISO. MISO is the data generated by the slave and must be transmitted to the master. Even though the signal in MISO is produced by the slave, the line is controlled by the master. The master generates a clock signal at SCLK and is supplied to the clock input of the slave. Chip select or slave select is used to select a particular slave by the master. The following image depicts a master connected to a slave using SPI bus. Since the clock is generated by the master, the flow of data is controlled by the master. For every clock cycle, one bit of data is transmitted from master to slave and one bit of data is transmitted from slave to master. This process happens simultaneously, and after 8 clock cycles, a byte of data is transmitted in both directions, and hence SPI is a full duplex communication. If more than one slave has to be connected to the master, then the setup will be something similar to the following image. Even though multiple slaves are connected to the master in the SPI bus, only one slave will be active at any time. SPI hardware. The hardware requirement for implementing SPI is very simple when compared to UART and I2C. Consider a master and a single slave are connected using SPI bus. The following image shows the minimal system requirements for both the devices. From the image, the master device consists of a shift register, a data latch, and a clock generator. The slave consists of a similar hardware, a shift register and a data latch. Both the shift registers are connected to form a loop. Usually the size of the register is 8 bits, but higher size registers of 16 bits are also common. Mode 0. Mode 0 occurs when clock polarity is low and clock phase is 0. During mode 0, data transmission occurs during rising edge of the clock. Mode 1. Mode 1 occurs when clock polarity is low and clock phase is 1. During mode 1, data transmission occurs during falling edge of the clock. Mode 2. It occurs when clock polarity is high, clock phase is 0. During this mode, data transmission occurs during rising edge of the clock. Mode 3. Mode 3 occurs when clock polarity is high, clock phase is 1. During mode 3, data transmission occurs during rising edge of the clock. Advantages. SPI is very simple to implement and the hardware requirements are not that complex. Supports full duplex communication at all times. Very high speed of data transfer. No need for individual addresses for slaves as CSRSS is used. Only one master device is supported and hence there is no chance of conflicts. Disadvantages. Each additional slave requires an additional dedicated pin on master for CSRSS. There is no acknowledgement mechanism and hence there is no confirmation of receipt of data. Slowest device determines the speed of transfer. There are no official standards and hence often used in application specific implementations. There is no flow control. Applications. SPI is used in memory like SD card, MMC, EPRM, flash, and temperature and pressure sensors, and control devices such as ADC, DAC, digital parts, and audio codec. SPI also used in camera lens mount, touchscreen, LCD, RTC, video game controller, etc. These are the references I used for this topic. Thank you.